Hey, hey, hey. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another Whatever Wednesday with Ryan. How's everyone doing? See who we got going on chat. We got Totally Normal, welcome. How I Roll, DD, White Raven. Who else did I miss? I think I got everyone. Glad to hear that everyone's awesome doing in chat. Well, I figured we'd do a fun topic that everyone loves to talk about, and that's caregiving, one of our favorite things to talk about. And I figured that what I want to talk about is what it's like, or I guess what I don't like and what I do like about it, what I look for in caregivers, what it's like managing multiple caregivers. I have 5, soon to be 6, and what places I use to find my caregivers, and what state programs are available here in the good old state of Oregon. I'd like to hear from live chat what kind of programs you guys have available in your area for caregiving. I know in every state it's different, so love to hear about it. Also, as you can tell probably with the weirdness of the camera, that I have a new camera. This is a Elgato face cam. I have yet to dial in any of the green screen or anything at all like that, so please let me know if it does not look good or needs to be adjusted. Also, I believe I had also updated the latency to being low on this live stream, so I should be able to see what you guys are able to chat. The potato, don't upgrade that. Awesome. Well, glad to hear it looks good. I will get this green screen dialed in on the next live stream. I ran out of time this evening and didn't want to keep you guys waiting. So let's kind of dive right in and talk about caregiving. And if you guys have any questions or anything, just put it in the chat and we'll go from there. So I've been having caregivers since, oh man, at least, I think I started getting caregiver when I was 18. I needed somebody for basically an hour in the morning, and that was just to come help me get showered and transferred from the wheelchair. I could transfer myself, but it was very difficult for me. So I just had a caregiver come over in the morning for like an hour, just to help me out. And this was that was probably about 19 years old when I first started having my first caregiver. And my first experience with a caregiver was somebody from an agency. This is when I lived in Seattle. This is a long time ago. And the caregiver came in and I didn't really know what to expect, or and this particular caregiver just reeked of alcohol. I mean, like literally smelled like they had fallen out of the bar. That was my first experience. They sent me a caregiver from an agency that was an alcoholic. After about a week of having her, I asked her like, "Hey, have you been drinking before coming to work?" And you know, that kind of thing. And I eventually had told the agency like, "Hey, you need to send somebody else. I need somebody here that can be functioning," that kind of thing. So that was my first experience, and I was like, "Oh man, yeah, this is the way caregiving is gonna be going forward. It's not a good sign." But fast forward from that was probably like 2003, 2007, all the way to 2017. The most amount of caregiving I need up to 2017 was literally maybe 2 hours in the morning and maybe an hour at night, and that was just to basically help me transfer from the wheelchair to my bed using a slide board. I'm sure some of you in chat know what a transfer board and slide board is. It was, I think I had there was a transfer board that I used, a special, it was called a Beezy board. Did anyone ever use one of those before? It's like a white plastic disc that sits on top of a transfer board and it just slides like butter. It was amazing. Anyways, up until 2017, I literally had 2 hours in the morning, and that was just basically to help me get transferred, maybe get dressed, maybe get showered, and then same thing at night, just to get transferred into bed because physically I couldn't transfer myself. So that was all the way to 2017. So after I had, I guess, years and years of that, basically from like 2003 to 2017, I had a variety of caregivers during that time. Some good, some not so good. Let's see, let me catch up here on chat. How did they not know what was going on? The agency, you'd be surprised, White Raven, that a lot of times the agencies don't have any knowledge of what's going on with their caregivers, because basically they kind of go in, they take like an assessment in the agency, and they get sent out to the field, and they're never in the office at all. So I think that's why the agency never knew what was going on. And Totally Normal says, had an agency early on, new person showed up one day. A big white cat hated the person. He wouldn't let them get near me. It's nuts. I've had that happen many times before with a dog of mine who had a caregiver come in the door, and the dog was like, "Oh, hell no. No. I don't trust you at all." Wow. Kelly, that's crazy. Had them puking drunk in my toilet while I'm trying to eat breakfast. Goodness gracious, that's just crazy. Dee Dee, you had one attack your cat? That's crazy. Hey, South Carolina digging evening. Welcome in. Anyways, during the basically year, like so 2003, 2017, just the minimal care I needed, it was a huge variety of there's a big huge variety of caregivers, some good, some not so good. Uh, hey Carl, welcome to the stream. Glad you corrected your spelling there. Good job. A plus. So back to my caregivers experiences. Um, Basically, like I said, I literally needed just a few hours in the morning, a few hours at night. So we'll talk about 2017, and Dan can confirm this situation. Is Man, where do I even start with this? So, as many of you that are in chat have had the experience of hiring somebody new, a brand new caregiver, you have to kind of walk them through your routine, what the process is, the transfer, using the Hoyer, that kind of thing. And at this point in 2017, I was still using a manual Hoyer, which I'm sure most of you in chat are. And the caregiver came in late. It was her second day coming in to take care of me. She was about 15 minutes late. She came in the door completely flustered, not concentrating on what she was supposed to be doing, just a complete mess because she was late. She came in, woke me up, or maybe I was already awake, and began to connecting the straps, the sling straps to a Hoyer. Yeah, it was 2017, damn, it's crazy. Anyways, she, as many of you use a Hoyer know, when you have the Hoyer straps, they have to be connected into the hook. Well, she connected all of them into the hook, but the front right one. She literally rested it on top of the hook, not in the hook. And a lot of that has to do with because she was tired, because she was late, she was frustrated, wasn't paying attention to whatever reason because she was late. Her mind just wasn't in the right spot. So she cranks up the Hoyer, cranking it up in the air. I start going up in the air. And next thing you know, she starts moving the Hoyer. Everything is good. And then, as you guys know, with the manual Hoyer, you have to, like, take the little handle in the back and it, like, spreads open the Hoyer to get around like a wheelchair to drop you down into a wheelchair. As soon as she grabbed that handle and turned it so the Hoyer would open up, that strap that wasn't hooked in basically slid off the Hoyer. And if you can imagine slow motion of me being about 4 feet in air in a Hoyer, I fell out of the Hoyer, landing on my left side. Luckily, my closet door was open, so my head was able to fall into the closet, or else I would have been gone. And anyways, fell right out of the sling, slid right out. I fell down on the ground. I broke 4 bones. I broke my hip, my femur, my shoulder, and my arm, all within a couple of seconds. So when I landed like Pinocchio. My legs kind of went, and yeah, it was not a good time at all. I got sent to the hospital via ambulance and got there, and I was actually doing okay when I first got there. They had me on some good drugs, and from there, the drugs, they kept pumping them into me more and more and more because obviously 4 broken bones, are in a lot of pain. And what happened is basically I was there in the hospital for well over almost 7 weeks. Might have been almost 8 or 9 weeks. I mean, it was quite a long time. After the first week, they pumped me up with so much painkillers that my intestines ended up getting a blockage, basically. And because of that blockage, I basically, my body decided to go kind of septic, and basically I was basically out of it completely. Dan confirmed that this happened. Dan was actually there pretty much every day I was in the hospital. He came and visited me and checked on me, make sure I was good. And during that time, after the first week, I was completely out of it. Um, I couldn't function. I wasn't doing good. Kind of touch and go. And then they finally got rid of the blockage, and then things started recovering. And yeah, so basically, the whole reason why I brought up that story is after 2017, like I said before, I literally had 2 hours in the morning, maybe an hour at night, just to help transfer. I went from that to basically having caregiving all day long, 14 hours a day that I'm in the chair, and then plus then whatever I need overnight time. And that's a big change. And now I understand like people that are, maybe have that have been injured and like that have suffered spinal cord injuries where it goes where they're able bodied 1 minute and then bam, this happens the next minute. They need that kind of care. I get it. Like it's tough. It's a big change. It took me a very long time to get used to it. I'm very thankful I had the years of experience of caregiving before all this happened, because I felt that basically if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to, I don't know, work well with the caregiving situation and all that ahead of time. Yes, and that's when the gorge was on fire and it was burning. Yes, I remember that. Dan, totally. So, to go from a caregiver, maybe a few hours here, a few hours a night to help you transfer to go to having them in your house with you 24 hours a day. I mean, it's a whole change. When I first got out of the hospital, um, I probably went through at least, I had an agency when I first got out of the hospital because, well, let me back up a story. So prior to that, remember I was telling you guys I had 2 hours in the morning, like an hour a night of caregiving, maybe 2 hours at night to help with transfers, getting ready for bed, that kind of thing. The state, when I was in the hospital wanted me to go to a skilled nursing facility or some other place that they could send me to. And then the DHS is like, well, you can't go home until you have Medicaid, basically saying you can't go home until you have caregiving set up. But yet they refuse to reevaluate me in the hospital. They're like, well, we won't come and evaluate you and see what kind of hours you might need until you get home from the hospital. So what I found out is there is I guess, not necessarily a loophole, but there's an unknown part of the Medicaid law here in Oregon that if you receive like Medicaid in-home caregiving from the state and you're in the hospital and your hours are going to change based on injuries or something that happened in the hospital, you can force them to come to the hospital and reevaluate you right then and there instead of waiting until you get home. It's an unknown loophole. It's not written in any documents anywhere. They don't tell you about it. This is one of those things you have to send them a letter and they have to respond within 48 hours and come and reevaluate you. So I did that. Had them come out to the hospital, reevaluate me. And that's how I found it out I could get more hours, that kind of thing. And yeah, so I was able to finally go home, and I probably, with the agency and the people they were bringing in to fill in with, I think I had 3 different agencies at the time just to cover the day. Um, it's just hard trying to laugh, but looking back at it, it was insane. I think I probably went through 30 people in 2 months, just as far as finding people that were quality caregivers. And a lot of you that receive caregiving understand what I mean. It's one thing to have a caregiver like here at the agency hired, you have no control over the hiring or the quality of these people. They just get sent to your home to do their job, and sometimes it's a good fit, but sometimes it's just a horrible and bad fit. Um, so getting used to that took quite a bit of time to try to get figured out and figure out, I don't know, the whole thing of using the agency. Do I try to hire my own caregivers? But with the state of Oregon, if you hire your own caregivers, they have to be state certified. And in order to be state certified here in the state of Oregon, it's very easy. It's basically a common sense medical class that you have to take here in the state of Oregon. And once you complete that, you can get basically a state number and be able to work with anybody that has and or receives state Medicaid services. For the agencies, they didn't have that requirement. They would literally hire anybody off the street, and they would basically do some training, very half-ass. I would call it just as good as the state, kind of like, common sense 101 caregiving. And they would go through and do that, and that was it. And it was kind of hit or miss what you got. Sometimes a good fit, sometimes it's a bad fit. And I know that Kelly, you're running into that right now, where there's basically one agency that rules your whole entire area. Luckily, I had 3 or 4, 5 or so to choose from. But it was the same, you have no control over who it is they bring in and who they hire. So years and years of this went by of me doing my recovery, getting better, having good agency people, bad agency people, and I always told the agency, like, I will not accept anyone that I don't think is a good fit. Like, if it's not a good fit, I'm just gonna tell you keep looking for another one. And I kept doing that over and over again, until finally I had a pretty good fit for everything was kind of lined up. I had my own caregivers that worked for the state, and then I had a few that worked for the agencies, and my schedule and everything was perfect. And then the situation happened, which we all know what happened when the situation happened. At that time, I had a full schedule of caregivers. I think I had 4. So I think I had 3 of my own, and then, or actually, no, sorry, 2 of my own, and then 2 from an agency that came and took care of me. And then with the situation that happened, everything kind of got put on hold. I had to kind of reevaluate, caregiving at that point in time. How many people I wanted in my home, that kind of thing. Yes, the worldwide weirdness, as they call it. And I ended up cutting back on a little bit of some of my caregiving just to kind of get the feel of things, what's going to be happening in the worldwide weirdness, as Dan puts it. And yeah, I had to do some changes. It was tough, but I had to make the decisions that I felt most comfortable at the time. And after basically the first year of that, I started working with my case manager, going like, hey, I'm really struggling trying to find somebody. So during the first, I think it was like the first 6 months of the, we'll call it the worldwide weirdness, I would say this, at the time, the state switched to a program where the caregivers had to clock in and clock out using their phones with GPS tracking, like their location when they check in and when they check out. As soon as the state introduced that, 40% of their workforce had quit that was working for the state. Sure, we can say maybe 20% of that had to do with the worldwide situation, but the other 20% was probably people that were scamming the Medicaid system, claiming hours that were worked that were never worked. So that just basically made the caregiver availability pool go way down as far as the state was concerned. So I was like, crap, where do I find people? At that point in time, I started having to heavily rely on agencies as far as caregiving went, and that just kept going downhill and downhill. They couldn't find people. It just... Hold on a second. Drink switch. Switch into hot tea. It's my normal 7 o'clock drink of choice, as they say. Where was I? Oh yeah. So the agency, they started having, because of the worldwide weirdness, started having a hard time finding people, and they were just hiring any old warm body off the street to fill in that they had no business doing caregiving. I had caregivers that would show up from the agency. They would literally stand in the corner. I'm like, hey, you need to like jump in, like the caregiver, like my caregiving doesn't like magically take care of itself. Like you need to be hands on, jump in. I'll tell you what you need to do. They do just stand there looking like Poindexter in the corner. I'm just like, come on. And see, top pay here is 18 an hour. That's crazy. So at the time that I'm talking about this, the pay here in the state of Oregon at that time was 15.57 an hour, and that was it. So not only were the agencies probably paying way less than that here, they couldn't find anybody. We had the worldwide situation going on. It was just a bad combination. I reached out to my case manager. I'm like, look, I can't find people. Like, I cannot keep going without care. Like, my family members are burnt out. They can't keep doing what they're doing, and I'm very, very fortunate to have family members who are available to me, as I know there's so many people in our community that do not have caregiving right now and are struggling. That's the reason why I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about this today, as I wanted to talk about some of the things of how I figured out how to manage so many caregivers and what I've done to find caregivers and good quality caregivers, because compared to where I was a couple years ago, it's night and day difference as far as what's happening. So let's see, where was I? So we were talking about the oh crap, where was I? Sorry, brain fart. All right, so basically, the case manager got back to me and said, hey, we have this new program here in the state called Independent Choices Program. It's only available here in Oregon. It could be available in other states, and I'll kind of explain to you what it is. So those of you that receive Medicaid hours or help through Medicaid that receive in-home caregiving can look into it, see if it's available in your area. So basically, the way it works is prior to this, the state Medicaid office would send a case manager out to my house. They would evaluate me and say, okay, Mr. Keneally, you got this many hours. I'm like, okay, great. Here's my hours I get. And that would be, blame it on the dog. Yeah, if only I could blame it on the dog. So they would come out, evaluate you, and then you would get those hours, and that's what would be paid, either to the agencies or people you would find on your own. And that's how many hours you would get each month. So with the Independent Choices program, you get those same hours, but the state, instead of going through an agency or you having to hire people that work for the state only, I can hire whoever I want to. I'm basically the boss, HR. I'm basically everything except for payroll. I don't have to deal with payroll at all. I use a company that handles all the payroll. But I'm basically able to hire who I want, fire who I want. There's no, I still have them do a background check through the state, but it's not required for their employment. There's no classes for people to take, so I can literally hire whoever I want to and look for my own people, which, man, let me tell you, it's been a huge change for me being able to basically hire my own people. So, like I said, the state basically, the same amount of money they were spending on either paying caregivers through the state or paying an agency, they just give me that lump sum check. It goes into a special checking account, and the payroll company takes that money and then pays out my employees. And yeah, it's been huge to be able to have that. And I hope that any of you, I hope that Medicaid programs in the states you guys are in that receive Medicaid services can have something like this, because it's been life-changing for me to be able to find and hire and stuff my own caregivers. It's been life-changing. Now let's kind of, I guess, let's back up a little bit and talk about a couple of things here. So, and anybody please chime in the chat with anything that you guys like and dislike about caregiving. So let's start about what I like about caregiving. So what I like about caregiving is having people that are here that care and have a positive, upbeat attitude. For me, is absolutely something that I absolutely like and I'd like to have in my home environment. And I've been very, very fortunate, like I said, to find the ones I do have for them to show up and be continual. Like it's been amazing. I have zero complaints as far as the amazing group of people I do have. And another thing I like about it is just, I don't know, the peace of mind knowing that you have coverage, which I know a lot of you in chat can totally understand that there's been times where you haven't been able to get coverage because of, you know, the worldwide weird situation, the, um, maybe the area you live in. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons why you might not have caregiving, but um, one of the things I absolutely like about it is just having that knowledge and knowing that, like, hey, I'm covered. I can get the care that I need. That to me is huge. Now, one thing I don't like, and I think all of you can agree on, is privacy. So right now, I have a caregiver here. She's giving me privacy, allowing me to do this, hang out, do YouTube live stream, all that kind of thing. She's getting stuff done around the house, that kind of thing. So it's not like it's like she's just not doing anything. She's here, getting anything else I need. It's great. But one thing that's always been a problem is privacy. If you have somebody around you all the time and you need to take a phone call, if you don't have headphones on, they're basically hearing everything you say in that phone call. Um, and that really kind of, before I started using wireless headphones and using headphones all the time, it's kind of like, wow, like that's something I really don't like. There's literally no privacy, to do phone calls, to do things. And another thing that comes up with that is I've lost a lot more strength over since 2017 to the point now where I'm at the point now where I'm having to have the caregivers like unlock my phone, like, hey, what did that message say? So it ends up being a huge, 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 huge trust factor in between me and the caregivers I do have, to get that. And that doesn't happen overnight. Like it takes many months, almost a year of me getting to know them and feeling comfortable with them before I'm going to be letting them, do that kind of thing. But privacy is a big problem. It's something that I definitely don't like, but it's just part of it when you have strangers coming into your home. Another thing I do not like about that involves strangers. As many of you have seen on my YouTube channel, there is a video titled, I think it was titled like Caregiving Stealing From Me, something like that. And that's one of the other things I don't like is there's, in the beginning, there's definitely a huge trust factor, making sure that that person can be trustworthy in your home. The person that stole from me um, was not anyone I hired. It was from an agency. So that's a different conversation. Or actually, just go watch the video. I think I did a very good job in that last video about that, exactly how it happened, what happened, that kind of thing. All right, let me check on chat here. That's a good question, Christopher. Let me get to that in just a second. That's one of my next ones about where I go to find somebody. How I roll. Medicaid pays the agency $26 an hour, but the agency only pays 18. Wow, that's really good pay, Kelly, because here they're just now paying the caregivers at agency $17, $18 an hour. Right? If you could offer 25 an hour to help, that would be a game changer. And let me tell you, when I switched from the state pay is at the time before the worldwide weird situation was $15 and I think 77 cents. Since I switched to that program, I could increase the pay to what I was paying my caregivers based on the money the state gave me. I could basically pay them $18 an hour. And as soon as I did that switch, I had applicants. I had people lining up, ready to go, ready to join, to be a part of my team and take care of me. But before, when I would advertise at $15.77, nobody would do it. They're like, I'm not going to work for that. Now, if it was up to me and wave a magic wand, I agree with you, Kelly. If we could just offer $25 an hour across the board, that would be huge. If that was the available option. But Unfortunately, those of us that are on Medicaid or Medicaid hours, you can't supplement additional money on top of that because that's against the law and you can't do any of that. Um, yeah. So there's kind of the short gist of my caregiving and what I like, what I don't like. Um, Now, before I get into where it is that where I find people and how I manage all those caregivers, let's talk about what I look for. Now, this is my personal preference of what I look for. Everyone has their own purposes of what it is they look for as far as caregiving. Um, for me, one of the most important part of it is um, how do I really describe this? It is an upbeat person, a positive person. I'm not going to want to bring in anybody into my household that's going to be negative or complaining all the time. I don't want that around me, nor does that help me thrive and become a better and more active person um, and help me in any way. It's not something I want. So I definitely shy away from negative people, that kind of thing. Um, I just look for people also too that are uh, more of a self-starters in a way. And what I mean by that is somebody that I feel that I could, after them being here a few months, if they know if I'm busy doing something, that they're going to pick something up and take care of that so it's done ahead of time versus waiting for me to tell them to do it. They just go ahead and do it. So that's what I mean, kind of like a self-starter. Um, so those are kind of the two traits I look for. And I do video interviews right now. I used to do in-person interviews, but I've had, I've had some strange people show up to my house and refuse to leave after the interview because I didn't hire them. That I had to call the cops on. That's happened once, believe it or not. Don't use Craigslist. All I can tell you is stay away from it. If you can help it, don't use it. And anyways, she refused to use, so I had to leave. So I had to call the cops. Um, yeah. So let's kind of go for now. What I guess let's talk about where places I use to find caregivers. Then we'll talk about how I manage so many caregivers. I can tell you, managing 5 to 6 caregivers is a full-time job in itself, especially with scheduling. So let's talk about the places I use to find caregivers. I know a lot of you are very interested in wanting to know where I find people at. So I used to use care.com. I used to use Craigslist, um, places like that, and I just had really bad luck. And it wasn't necessarily bad luck. I like to start getting people to apply. I got people to apply. It's just the quality of those people were just like, no way would they cut the mustard. Like I wouldn't hire them to take care of anyone in my family ever, let alone myself. So I was like, no, not gonna work. Um, so before I moved out here to Oregon, I started advertising at local nursing schools, colleges, um, any places like that is where I would advertise at and be able to find people no problem at all. It wasn't a problem. Um, Once I moved here to Oregon, I'm a good probably 15 miles from Portland, which to me is not that far, but for people in Portland, 15 miles like is the end of the world when it comes to driving, and that's just based on our traffic here. It's horrible, so I get it. And because I'm a little bit further out from Portland where I live, it was really hard for me to get people here right away. So I started doing the same thing again, posting at schools. There's a lot of schools that do like just CNA training only, so I post up at CNA schools, all the local community colleges, any other colleges that are close by within 10 to 15 miles. Um, where else do I post? I don't use care.com anymore. And now the latest thing I did, and this is where I've found to be the best spot to find people. So my secret, I'm going to tell you to only on people on the live stream. It won't be available anywhere else, not description. Only for you folks here, is I use Indeed. Now, when I say that, it's not easy to get in an Indeed account. Here's the reason. The reason why Indeed is so difficult is they want you to be, what's the word I could use? I don't want to say legitimate, but they want you to be a real business in order to post job opportunities on Indeed. So what I had to do in order for Indeed to accept me is I had to basically build a whole entire website to make it look like a business, specifically hiring just to take care of me. And then I had to have an email address set up with that, aka website business. And then once I created my account and posted my first ad on Indeed, it got shut down. They said it was against their terms of service, blah blah blah. So I sent them an email and said, "Hey, this is who I am. I'm a private individual looking to hiring, caregivers. This is a legit job, blah, blah, blah. What information do you need from me in order to prove that this is real?" And I had to basically send them a bill showing that with my address on it, and I had to send them a copy of my driver's license. Once I did that, I was able to post my ads on there, and within posting an ad on there and hiring the 4 people that I hired off of there that I still have was probably like less than a month. And it was amazing. It was the best experience I ever had on an app as far as finding good quality candidates that wanted to work. It's been great. Here's the caveat with it though. Every single time somebody sends in an application, if you don't complete the interview process or determine if that person is a keep or a remove within 48 hours, you have to pay for that application. And it ends up being $45 an application. Now, as much as that would suck, all of a sudden you have to pay $45 per applicant. If you're staying on top of it and you're jump on the interviews right away, contact the person like, "Hey, got your application. I'd like to interview you." And you get the interview done right away. Then most of the time you can figure out right away if it's a good fit or not. Then you can either, tell them, "Nope, I don't like this one." And as soon as you say, "Nope, I don't like this one," the computer system automatically then sends you another one. So it's a really awesome system. I've had great luck on it. It is a little bit pricey. As far as the applicants you do accept, you have to pay for it, $45 per applicant, but it's life-changing because of the quality of people you get on there. So if any of you are struggling trying to find somebody on there, I highly recommend doing it if you're able to afford it and are able to put into effort to create, even if it's even like a Wix website page, not to be anything fancy, just something that you can get on Indeed to make it look like a business and a logo and all that stuff. They'll accept it and allow you to post on there. And it's been huge. A game changer for me as far as being able to find good quality candidates. I mean, just, night and day difference. So what have you guys used in chat? What have you guys used for finding caregivers? Let's talk about that. Have you guys posted anywhere, newspapers, online? What's kind of the go-to spots you guys have looked at? Let's see, what else did I miss here in chat? Dee Dee, do you know what they're paying now in your area? I used to say it was 8 or 9 there. And Christopher, did that answer your question pretty well about how I go and finding applicants considering to hire? Is my connection having issues? It's showing live and stable here on my end. They're totally normal. Yeah, no problem, Chris. And I am totally okay with any questions you guys have. Yeah, Dee Dee, that's a big problem with the caregiving thing is theft and other problems. And that's tough, when you have these people in your home that you're trying to trust to help take care of you and do the right things, and they're stealing from you or trying to take advantage of you. It's just not right. Like it's yeah. I can see how that could easily be a turn off for like, why am I even bothering? Why do I even have it if this is going to be kind of the normal thing that could occur or happen? I can tell you that there are good people out there. They are hard to find, but when you do, um, you'll know, and you'll want to try to keep them for as long as you can. So, what's the longest anybody has had their caregivers for? So, the longest I had is when I lived in Arizona. I had two caregivers there that worked for me for 6 years, both each. Um, basically the whole entire time I was there living in Arizona, I had the same two for 6 years. I had some other ones in between or before a little bit, but for the most part, I had the same two for 6 years. And I have a friend of mine that I know lives in Phoenix. He had the same caregiver for 20 years. So I'm just curious if anybody has any long term caregiving. And Dee Dee, would you ever consider doing caregiving again, even after those problems? Like if you could hire your own and not have to go through an agency? I'll wait for the connection here to catch up. Gotcha. Yeah, you hire your own. That would be the way to do it. Okay, there's up 5 years and the best of the best with honors. That's awesome. And once I went from the like I said, like I had like maybe the same person morning and night to help me, and now in the morning and night to going to having all these caregivers all the time to try to manage all that has been yeah, it's been tough. I've had to learn payroll. I've had to learn how to calculate everyone's hours every 2 weeks to make sure nobody goes over 40 hours each week because they won't pay overtime. I basically have to kind of manage all of it, and it's almost a full-time job, especially now with it being summer. I have a few that are getting married, a few that are taking vacations. Um, and with that, it really gets challenging to try to work around my schedule and their schedule. And I'm very fortunate that all of the five caregivers I currently have, that they are willing to switch with each other. So if one is out on vacation or one, they're all willing to swap around hours with each other, so that way I am covered. I'm very fortunate that they're all willing to do that because before being on this program, that was not the option. Through an agency, there was no flexibility. It was a set schedule. This time to this time, no flexibility. With people working for me directly, it gives me some flexibility. Um, and one thing I also want to make clear in this whole conversation is I am very, very, very fortunate for having family members that live close by. Also, very fortunate to have the four people that are not family members work for me, because there's so many people in my area and even in other states that, and some of you may even know, that need caregiving but can't find anybody for the life of them just because of the combination of the worldwide situation. Um, it could be maybe the availability of how many hours you have versus pay. There's so many different reasons why people are struggling to find people. It could be just the area you live, period. You could be in an area where it's this really hard hit area that's really hard in employment. And I feel for you. And hopefully some of these tips and stuff I talked about, at least as far as where to post your ad up, could be helpful and allow you to find good quality candidates and not have to go through agencies. I mean, that's, but some of you, I think, Kelly, if I am correct, you only have agencies available to you, correct? In your area through the state Medicaid, there's no options of you hiring on your own or anything. And does everybody else have a state like that where you guys are unable to use individuals? You have to go through an agency? Just curious. Anybody? Bueller? Bueller? Come on now. There's a few of you in chat there. 11 of you to be precise. Yeah, Dee Dee, that's a huge risk. I mean, by you not having caregiving, you're putting yourself at risk. Like if you're leaning over too far to do something or pull a muscle, or I mean, there's so many things could happen if you're not basically, yeah, by you taking your own risk because there's not a caregiver there for you. Totally. And that's kind of something that I did prior to being dropped over that Hoyer by the caregiver I had at that time um, was I kind of took life for granted away, and I kind of what people will kind of tell you that I don't know. I lived safety third, and what I mean by that is I didn't take safety as the first priority. That's a perfect example is when that caregiver came in, she was tired, she wasn't paying attention, I wasn't awake yet, I haven't had my coffee, and she didn't connect the Hoyer straps correctly, and then I get dropped out of it. It's something that should have been completely avoided, should have never happened. And that falls back on not just her and that whole situation, but even me not paying attention to it because I was like, it's fine, just kind of live safety third. And yeah, it's not as much as we get away with that for so many years, it's definitely taking a risk by going like the safety third lifestyle, you know? It's all good, totally normal. I'll blame it on your location. That's what we'll blame it on. South Carolina, Dickens said his wife and a friend assist me throughout the day. So I haven't had to look into caregivers. Gotcha. Yeah, South Carolina, Dickens, you're very fortunate there, sir. Um, and when you do, definitely don't be afraid to tell agencies if they send somebody you don't like or you don't think it's a good fit. Just tell them no and have them send another one. There's nothing wrong with um, going through and telling them that. That's one thing I'd have to say is if you have the ability and the option to say no to a particular caregiver, like that's not going to be a good fit, and you know that you'll have coverage, like stick with it. Keep your foot down and be like, no. Unless the quality is what you feel is going to be a really good quality match, I, I don't like to settle if I don't have to. But sometimes I have to because I need to care and I can't go without it. So it's kind of picking the battles there. So totally normal. Is there anything I missed out on the old 2017 party? How many of you in chat use a manual Hoyer? Do a 1 for manual Hoyer, and do a 2 if you have a ceiling Hoyer. We'll keep it simple. Two, okay. Anybody else? A one. Okay. And Didi, I just got your message on Twitter there. Ouch. Painful looking. Ah, your manual to work on your wheelchairs. Kelly, are you like me and using a manual Hoyer to pick up a wheelchair to do maintenance on it? Uses the old manual wheelchair for the manual Hoyer I meant. That's what I use my manual Hoyer for now too, is wheelchair repair. It's really great at picking up an F3 that weighs 430 pounds, no problem. So when I lived in Arizona, when I was on Medicaid there, I was able to get them to pay for a ceiling Hoyer, which is very unheard of. Most of the Medicaids in most states will not pay for a ceiling Hoyer. So when I moved here, and while I was in the hospital in 2017, totally normal, actually organized it with some people that he knew, or I don't even know what happened. Somehow, that's all I know is XYZ check was written, and then next thing you know, there was a ceiling Hoyer. My old one was installed into my ceiling. So I don't really know what happened with all that. I know Totally Normal was involved and found some awesome people and got it taken care of. Um, so I'm very fortunate to have a ceiling Hoyer where I am right now here in Oregon, because it's not a normal household thing you would see for most people in power chairs here would be using. Magic wizardry at its finest. Yeah, for sure. And it's held up. I mean, that Hoyer is not scary old on how old it is. Yeah, honestly, Chris, you could easily, if you switch to a ceiling one, it can be done with one person then, and it can be done safely, versus a manual Hoyer. The thing that sucks about the ceiling Hoyers is just the cost. You know, they range anywhere from five to $10,000 depending on brand, what area you're in, that kind of thing. But definitely makes for a much safer transfer. I'm actually hoping here in the next week. My schedule has not been easy. Um, is to start kind of doing videos of my life, basically, kind of how I get transferred, my shower chair, what I use to kind of get around here in my home, just to kind of share it with other people that maybe don't have that or want to have a chance to be able to see that. I want to share that with everyone. Kind of like what does my daily routine look like? It's one thing you guys come on here and see me in my stream in my background. That's not the same as being able to see everything else, my day-to-day stuff. Totally Normal says they went to the attic and framed it up like nuts, watched them test it with a power chair base filled with dumbbell weights. I think Totally Normal, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, didn't they put over 650 pounds of weight on the ceiling Hoyer to make sure it would handle it? I think it was a power chair and a bunch of weights on top of it. Yeah. Uh, yeah, Carl, you're right. The truss is designed for a top load. Yeah, so they definitely reinforced it. Like it doesn't budge at all with my weight on there. I try to shake it and move it around while I'm into Hoyer, and it doesn't budge at all. Let's see here. What else is on our list to talking about today? State program. Okay. Has anybody got any questions in live chat? I know, Chris, you are new to the live chat. So thank you for joining in tonight, and glad you found my YouTube channel. Welcome in. But I'm open to any questions anybody's got about anything. I know it wasn't the most exciting conversation talking about caregiving, but figured it's got to be talked about. So did anyone do what did I guess let's talk about this. What did you all do during the worldwide situation for 2 years? Did you guys stay home? Did you start watching YouTube more? Like, what kind of things did you guys get into? Ah, the famous handbag question. That is a great one, Dee Dee. So I'll tell you what I carry in my bag. So I have a battery bank to recharge a phone. I have USB-C cable, iPhone cable, head wired in headphones in case the AirPods die. Hand sanitizer, Ziploc bag with gloves in it for the caregivers, hand sanitizer, Clorox wipes in case go out in public, anything at all like that. What else is back there? Oh, straws. Gotta have straws. Ziploc gallon bags for peeing purposes. It's my go-to, inexpensive urinal, as I call it. What else is back there? Maybe a few extra masks. It's because, the worldwide situation. Oh, cushion pump. I carry around my pump for my cushion in case I ever feel like it's low or anything. I always put air in it. What else is back there? I'm having to. Oh, I got some business cards for the Power Soccer group that I run. In case when I hand that out to people while I'm out and about. Trying to think what else is back there. Every once in a while, I'll carry a toe strap and some tracks to put down on the ground for when people get stuck. That was actually featured in Totally Normal's hiking video when Wanzo got stuck in the mud, and Enoch ended up pulling him out. So I carry that sometimes back there. Other than that, that's sunglasses. Can't forget about sunglasses. Got sunglasses. What does everyone else carry? So it looks like Totally Normal. 27 pounds? Dude, what are you carrying back there? Weapons? Good lord. Oh, these are great. Oh, Kelly, you're absolutely right. I'm one of those people that uses a ceiling hoyer to get his pants onto. I don't have the physical ability to lay down on bed and be rotated back and forth, side to side to get my pants on anymore. My body physically can't handle it. So I have to get dressed in the hoyer in the ceiling hoyer, that is. It works really well for having a ceiling hoyer. Alright, let's see, what does Totally Normal have going on? See, South Carolina digging backpack. Come on, South, you don't know what's in your own backpack? Come on, man. Oh, that's good. All good, dude. Let's see, what else? Ah, John posted a clip of that in the stream. Okay. We'll have to take a look at that. Computer, other stuff. Cinder block. A patch kit for cushion. That's a great idea, Didi. I never thought about that because I use a Roho cushion myself and it's got air in it, so you get to puncture your SOL. So that's a good idea to have a patch kit for a cushion. Do you use the bicycle patch kits, or do you actually buy one specifically for cushions? Battery bank, cables, pumps. Oh yes, meds. I may or may not carry meds with me. Yep, check. Gotta have that. Totally normal. Is that available on his channel? Like right now? Can we watch it? Let's see here. See if I can find Wanzo's video where you guys are chatting. Oh, well, you being a moderator and all, that makes life a little easier. Nope. Crap. Hold on. Okay. Did I, hopefully I didn't lose anybody. Sorry about that if I did. Give me 1 second here. Let's see, skip ads. Alright. When we get a chance, I'll pull up that video. Alright, what did I miss in chat? What type of sling do you use? So I use a Sure Hands sling is what I use, Chris. And it's a lightweight mesh sling. It's not a very heavy one. It's a super lightweight gray one. I'll see if I can find a picture of it. Do you carry both? Okay, that's good to know. And let's see, carry some documents. Yeah, documents are good too. Gotta have some of those. So let's take a look at the video in question of Wanzo getting stuck. I have that available.
Hold on. Give me your tow rope. Or I guess maybe you could just push him out. Oh, that's big. Yeah, back up.
He gets so stuck.
I mean, you're fine.
Oh, poor Wanzo.
Look at Ryan there. You should just run out of tires. Or eat it, yeah. We didn't get it in a tow rope.
Oh, that look. We need tow rope stat.
Tea has to have milk in it, so Rob.
I like how Williams is like reading chat.
Traffic jam. Hold on.
There's the magical toe strap kept in the backpack.
Really good.
Oh man. I love the lady in the background coming through. Going like, wait a minute, what's happening? Oh, there's the track thing. I keep my backpack as well. I mean, it worked out well all in the end. We got John pulled out, but I mean, you can see how eating is a sliding around so muddy. And then this lady here in red came out of nowhere and started helping. That was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Totally normal. You did a great job on the footage, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I should have brought the chat over with me in this window.
Yeah. Just make sure you stand next to him and hold his chair so he doesn't.
Flare path.
There we go. All right, hold up, hold up.
Oh, I got like yanked out of there.
Don't move.
Oh man.
Rig 2 not connected. Oh, the strap hit the lever. Oh, now it's gone. Is it gone?
And finally, got John out.
Keep it just a little bit further. Okay, there we go. All right.
Oh man, that was such an epic day. I'm hoping that we can get a trail run of those going soon. Oh, sorry. I apologize about the echo. I don't have the desktop audio set up very well for echoing. Yeah, it's echoing. I see now. I apologize. I'll fix that for the next live stream. That's what happens when you don't test ahead of your live stream. Happens to the best of us. Oh, totally normal. I just noticed you also carry a Sharpie. That's the way. That's a good extra thing to have. Oh, the mic has an echo right now. Oh crap! There we go. Sorry about that. Is that better? Thank you for telling me. I know OBS. It's a great and amazing program, but if you forget to click on the wrong thing, it's like whoops. Happens to the best of us. Exactly. Sweet. Thank you for letting me know. So I have been doing some remodeling in here. See if I can show you guys real quick. The camera, I don't know how much it's going to show, so we'll do it for a couple seconds here. Okay. Never mind. I thought it would be able to show you guys my background, but it's like not wanting to. Weird. Anyways, I'll create a separate video of that and show you guys the new office setup, new camera, green screen, all of that kind of stuff. I'm excited to do some more animations in the background. And how do all of you feel about having a bot in the chat to basically? I'm not really worried about like for moderation purposes, but just to have like, I don't know, like more user interaction kind of thing. Something I thought about adding into the chat. Because one of my goals of doing the live streams every single Wednesday is to grow a community of different people, different backgrounds, and try to get things going. Try to maybe even do a Discord server down the road, just to kind of get back into the things. Well, that includes maybe even doing getting the podcast going again. Have a separate podcast, have its own separate YouTube channel. I think it would be kind of a cool thing to get going and get set up. Oh no, Kelly, it's no good. How far is the grocery store from where you are? Well, especially if you're giving her, paying her, and she's out there taking hours upon hours of your time. Definitely not right. Right? Ice cream would definitely not be good. A party boy would be nice. Party bot, I think is what you meant to say there, DD. Not, I mean, maybe you want the party boy too. I mean, I don't know if we want either or. Sorry, you kind of left yourself open on that one. Yeah, 15 minutes, dude. that's, yeah, your ice cream or anything else frozen will not be frozen. Oh, and Chris, if you are still in chat, sir, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram or whatever social media you use if you need links or anything to that metal arm that you saw on Totally Normal stream to put on your wheelchair. And what kind of wheelchair you have? No ice cream. All right, then you're good. Nice. Yeah. I do love that everyone in chat knows each other and got a nice little small community. It's awesome. I hope to grow it. I hope to get, I mean, I'm definitely not going to be totally normal size. I can hope for that down the road, but I just starting out doing the live streams on every Wednesday and then start piecing together regular old content during the week for all of you to enjoy, including some new wheelchair updates on my F3, including the latest drama with the cable and it not being fixed, and some new custom tires that I have found. And that means green tires, believe it or not. So I don't know if any of you are big fans of green tires, but have any of you actually seen colored tires at all on your wheelchair? I'm going to give you guys a special sneak peek, so don't go anywhere. I'm going to show you the tires real quick before we end the stream. That way you guys can see what I mean, bright green tires. Give me 1 second. Now that would be epic. We still need to find out though, totally normal with the non-strike force chairs, like maybe my chair, how we can get it to do a burnout. Okay, hold on 1 second. Gonna mute the mic. Give me just a second. Be right back. Give me 1 minute. All right, wheels coming up and tire. I have to show it off. I'm so excited about it that I gotta get you guys excited about it. Okay. So first, I'll show you the wheel or tire first. Oh, that is hilarious. The tire is green. It's got off the green screen. Okay, hold on.
Right.
Hold on 1 second. That was hilarious. Oh, hey. Green screen here. Scoot over towards my face a little bit, a little higher. All right, so as you can see, based on my face color, that is a serious green tire. They are 200 by 50. I will not tell you who makes them. I'll have to have you guys guess until next stream. And then here are the custom wheels that I was able to find. Instead of using the Permobil stock wheels, got some custom wheels. Manufacturer to be told at a later date. Just wanted to kind of show them off now and I don't know, give you guys a sneak peek. So that is in an upcoming video, getting them installed on the wheelchair. It's actually, I'm going to try to do it on Friday. Get them installed and then let's cross fingers that they actually clear. It's a 200 by 50 tire, so it should clear in the back of an F3. But I kind of half measured it. Not really. What I'm really worried about is with that white wheel is getting the spacing right on the rear axles, making sure there's enough space on there. So yeah, so there you go. You guys, since those of you that stuck it out to the end of the stream, that's your appreciation. You get a sneak peek of something awesome that's coming. And yeah, listen, I appreciate everyone being here tonight. I hope everyone has an amazing week. Hopefully the weather is great where you guys are. I really appreciate everyone in chat, everyone that watches this video afterwards. Feel free to follow me in any social media accounts that Rye can do it. As a Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, etc. You know, the whole gamut. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate everyone in chat and everyone that views this video, and I will see everyone again next week for sure on Wednesday. And obviously, we hope way before that with the amazing green reveal. So, thank you everyone very much. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Peace.